Hi all, a very good day to all. Myself Karthika, Assistant Professor, Computer Science and Engineering in Banariaman Institute of Technology. Hope all are doing well.
In our lecture, we have discussed the generation of intermediate codes in compiler design. This intermediate code generation lies between the front end and back end phase of the compilers. If I tell a word run, immediately what you will do? You will start running, right? Because the word run is an action verb and it means to perform an action, right? Similarly, in compiler design, we associate some semantic actions with the productions, which means to perform those actions if the corresponding productions is encountered. Today, let us discuss the kinds of semantic action rules associated with the productions for different kinds of programming statements. In our previous lecture, we have discussed about the syntax directed translation for assignment statements as well as for Boolean expressions and their equivalent semantic rules. Now, first let us give a equivalent semantic rule for the given Boolean expression. E gives id reloop id2 is represented here. So reloop is nothing but it means a relational operator. So relational operator may be a greater than operator, a less than operator, a greater than or equal to operator, or less than or equal to operator, and so on. So now let us see an equivalent semantic rule for this Boolean expression. E dot place equal to new temp of emit if id1 dot place reloop dot op id2 dot place go to next state plus 3. Emit e dot place equal to 0. Emit go to next state plus 2. Emit e dot place equal to 1. So this is the equivalent semantic rule for the given Boolean expression. Now let us discuss about this semantic rule in detail. Here we are using two functions, right? Emit function and new temp function. So the purpose of emit function is used to generate the 3 address code and the purpose of new temp function is used to generate the temporary variables. See, this semantic action rule is used for what? Is used for generating the 3 address code. We all know that 3 address code could be formed by using what? By using temporary variables. So that temporary variables is generated by using the new temp of function. And emit is used for what? It is used to generate the 3 address code. Okay. See here, first for E, we are generating a new temporary variable for storing the value present in that variable E. Next, emit is there. Here what we have represented id1 dot place. Id is nothing but it is a variable. So let us consider that id1 equal to a. And reloop dot op, it means a relational operator. Let us consider greater than symbol as the relational operator. Then id2 dot place is the next variable. Let us consider b as the second variable. Now what is our condition? If a greater than b. Where we have to go? We have to go to next state plus 3. That is, you have to go to the third statement. Consider if it is a zeroth statement. What is the third statement? This is the first statement. This is the second statement. And this is the third statement. So you have to go to where? You have to go to the third statement. So what is mentioned in third statement? E dot place equal to 1. That is, you have to assign E with the value 1. What it means? If the condition is true, what we have to assign? We have to assign 1 to E. Okay. So the block, the statements within the if block is present where? Is present in the third most statement. Okay. Now what is the statement that immediately follows the if statement? Here we are having a statement, right? What it means? It means E equal to 0. So this statement is nothing but this statement is the else block statements. Okay. So the statement following immediately the if statement is the else block statements. So after executing the else statements, we have to come out of the loop, isn't it? See here, one, if condition is true, you have to execute the statements within the if block. If the if condition is false, you have to execute the statements within the else block, right? So after executing the statements within the else block, where the control has to go? The control has to go outside the else block. Okay, so that is the next statement. Okay, if after executing the else statement, you have to go to where? You have to go to next state plus 2. Consider if this is the zeroth statement, where it has to go? Consider if this is the zeroth statement, where it has to go? It has to go to next state plus 2. That is, it is the first statement, it is the second statement. So the control has to move to next state plus 2. That is, outside the complete block, it has to move. Okay. If the if condition is true, where the statements of the if block has to be placed? It has to be placed in the next state plus 3. That is, it has to be placed in the third statement. Immediately after the if statement, what statement has to be placed? The else block statements have to be placed. Then after executing the else block statements, you have to mention where the control has to go. So that control flow has to be represented where? It has to be represented in the second most statement from that statement. Okay. So this is the semantic rule for the given Boolean expression. Now let us check an example using this semantic action rule for generating a 3 address code. So the given example is P greater than Q and or less than S or U greater than or. Okay. So this is the example. Now we are going to generate a 3 address code for this example. So first statement, first what we will do, we will check whether if P is greater than Q. If P is greater than Q, where we have to go? We have to go to the third most statement, isn't it? That is what we have seen in the semantic action rule, no? So the statements of the if block has to be placed where? It has to be placed in the third most statement. So if P greater than Q, where you have to go? What is the third most state here? 100 is there. Then 101 is the first, 102 is the second, 103 is the third most statement. So you have to go to where? You have to go to 103. Okay. Then immediately after the if block, what we have to write? We have to write the statements of the else block. So T1 equal to 0. So that is the statements of the else block. So after executing the else block statement, what we have to write? We have to write a go to statement. That is where we have to go to? We have to go to next state plus 2. Okay, after executing the else block, we have to go to next state plus 2, right? So what is next state plus 2? So this is 102. So after that, 103 is the first statement, 104 is the second statement. So you have to go to the second most statement. So where we have to go? We have to go to 104. So next is 103. In 103, what we have to write? We have to write down the statements of the if block. So the statement of the else block is, we are assigning T1 to 0. So what would be the statement of the if block? T1 will be assigned with 1. Okay. So we have satisfied or we have checked the first condition. Next we are going to check the second condition. The same pattern we are going to repeat. So next we will check if or greater than yes. Where we have to go? We have to go to the third most statement. So from 104, which is the third most statement? 105 is the first statement, 106 is the second statement, 107 is the third most statement. So you have to go to 107. So after the if block, what we have to write? You have to write the else statement. So else statement is T2 equal to 0. Then after else block, you have to write where the control has to move after the else block. Okay, where it will move? It will move to next state plus 2. That is second most statement it will move. So from 106, what is the second most statement? 107 and 108 is the second most statement. So it will move to 108. Now we have in 107 where what we have to write? We have to write the if block, that is T2 equal to 1. Next we have checked two conditions. If P greater than Q we have checked, if or less than S we have checked. Then you have to check if U greater than or. Same, if u greater than or, okay, not v, if u greater than or, we have to go to where? Next state plus 3. From 108, what is this third most statement? 109, 1110, 1111. 1111 is the third most statement. Then after the if statement, you have to write what? You have to write the else statement. Else statement is t3 equal to 0. After else statement, you have to write a go to. So where we have to go to? We have to go to next state plus 2 we have to go to. So from 1110, what is the second most statement? 1111 and 1112 is the second most statement. So you have to go to 1112. Okay. So finally, after that, what we have to do? We have to write down the statement of the if block, that is t3 equal to 1. So finally, we have checked all the three conditions. Next, we are going to check this operator, and operator and or operator. Okay. So next statement is where the result of p greater than q will be stored. The result of p greater than q is stored in t1, and where the result of or less than s will be stored. For or less than s, we are using temporary variable t2. Okay. So we will be checking whether t1 and t2, and the result of the both is stored in t4. Okay. Then where the result of u greater than or will be stored, it is stored in t3. So we are going to check t4 or t3, and the result will be stored in t5. So this is the corresponding 3 address code for this expression. So how this 3 address code is generated? This 3 address code is generated using that equivalent semantic rule what we have seen before. So using this equivalent semantic rule, we have generated a 3 address code for a given Boolean expression. We can generate 3 address code for any Boolean expression that is given using this semantic rules. Okay guys. Next, let us check how to use the syntax directed translation for evaluating the expressions. Okay. So the production given is E gives E plus T, and the corresponding semantic rule is E dot value is equal to E dot value plus T dot value. Then E gives T. For this, the semantic rule is E dot value is equal to T dot value. Then T gives T star F. The semantic rule for this production is T dot value is equal to T dot value into F dot value. Then for the production T gives F. The semantic rule is T dot value is equal to F dot value. Then the next production F gives num. The semantic rule is F dot value is equal to num dot L value. So L value is nothing but the lexical value, that is the original value, that is called as the lexical value. So we will call it as L value. Okay. So after writing a semantic rule for a production, what is the next step? Parser will try to generate the parse tree. Okay. So parser uses this production as well as the semantic rules for generating a syntax directed translation. Okay. So the next step is generating the parse tree. The input we are going to consider is this: 2 plus 3 into 4. So what is the answer for this expression? See, considering the addition operation and multiplication operation holds the higher priority. So this will be evaluated first. So what is 3 into 4? 12. What is 12 plus 2? 14. So the answer for this expression is 14. So we are now going to generate a parse tree, and we are going to determine how this answer is evaluated using the semantic rules of the productions. Okay. So what is the first step? E gives E plus T. Okay. So then next, so first what we need? We need 2. Okay. Next, E will be reduced to T. Then T will be reduced to F. F will be reduced to num. So let us name this num as 2. Okay. First we have generated 2. Then a plus is there. Then what we have to generate? 3 into 4 we have to generate. So for that we are going to evaluate this T. So T is equal to what? Equal to T star F. Next, T will be reduced to F and F will be reduced to num. Let us name this num as 3. So now we have obtained what? 2 plus 3 we have obtained. Then this F will be reduced to what? This F will be reduced to num, and let us name this num as 4. So finally we have generated a parse tree for the given input. After generating the parse tree, what we have to do? We have to traverse the parse tree top to down and left to right for obtaining the answer. Okay. So while traversing the parse tree top to down and left to right, with the semantic rule, we are going to perform some actions. Okay. So first it starts with E, then it goes here. So E to E, there is no reduction. Then E to T, no reduction. T to F, no reduction. F to num, no reduction. But num to F, so num is reduced to F. There is what? There is a reduction. Whenever there is a reduction, we have to go to the production and you have to perform the action. Okay. So now we are having a reduction, right? So we have to go and check the production. So for this production, what semantic action is given? F dot value is equal to num dot L value. So what is F dot value? So F dot value is equal to num dot L value. What is the value of num? 2 is the value of num. So F dot value equal to 2. Okay. Next, further we are going to go up. So here F is reduced to T. F is reduced to T, right? There is a reduction. So whenever there is a reduction, what you have to do? You have to go and check with the production. So F is reduced to T is this production. What is the corresponding action? T dot value equal to F dot value. That is F dot value is equal to what? 2. The same value is assigned to what? Is assigned to T also. So T equal to 2. Then next we go up. Here T is reduced to E. Yes, T is reduced to E. So where we are having a production, here we are having the equivalent production. So what is the action for that? E dot value is equal to T dot value. So what is T dot value? 2 is the T dot value. So what is E dot value? E dot value is also 2. So E dot value is also 2. Next we are going here, plus is there, no reduction. Then we are going to T. T to T, no reduction. T to F, no reduction. F to num, no reduction. And if we come back, num is reduced to F. Yes, there is a reduction. So this is equivalent to what production? This is equivalent to this production. So what is the corresponding action rule? F dot value is equal to num dot value. So what is the value of F? F is equal to num dot value. What is the value of num? 3 is the value of num. So that is equal to 3. Then again, while moving up, here there is a reduction. F is reduced to T. Yes, F is reduced to T. What is the equivalent semantic rule? F T dot value is equal to F dot value. So what is F dot value? 3. So this 3 is assigned to T also. So T dot value is equal to 3. Then again we go up. Here there is a multiplication symbol, no reduction. Then here while we are coming, num is reduced to F. Yes, this is equivalent to this production. So what is the value? Semantic rule, F dot value is equal to num dot L value. So F dot value is equal to what? Num dot L value. What is num dot L value? 4 is the num dot L value. So F is equal to what? F is equal to 4. Then again while moving up, here T star F, the complete T star F you have to consider. So T star F is reduced to what? T. So this is equal to which production? This production. So what is the action for this production? T dot value is equal to T dot value into F dot value. So what is this T dot value? This T dot value is equal to 3. And what is this F dot value star F? What is this F dot value? 4. So what is 3 into 4? 12. So what is the value of this T dot value? 12. So 12 is assigned to T. Okay. Next, while moving up, E plus T. So E plus T is reduced to E. So this is equivalent to which production? This is equivalent to this production. E plus T is reduced to E. So what is the respective action E dot value is equal to E dot value plus T dot value. So what is the value of E dot value? 2 is the value of E dot value. And what is the value of T dot value? This is this T. So what is the value? 12 is the value. So what is 2 plus 12? 14. So 14 is assigned to what? It is assigned to E dot value. So finally what is the value of E? E is equal to 14. So finally this expression is evaluated and 14 is returned as the result. This is how a parser will evaluate an expression by generating a parse tree as well as by using the production and the equivalent semantic action rules associated with every productions. Okay. So this semantic action rule is very much important while evaluating the expressions, right? Let us check with another example, that is converting a infix expression to postfix expression. The same production I have taken, but I have simply changed the semantic action rules only, because the question is what? We have to convert a infix expression to postfix expression. Accordingly, I have framed the semantic rule for the production. So E gives E plus T. The semantic rule is, first we have to print of plus. Then for E gives T, the semantic rule is nothing, it is empty. Then for T gives T star F, the semantic rule is printf star. Then for T gives F, the semantic rule is empty. And for F gives num, the semantic rule is printf num dot L value. Okay. So before generating the parse tree, let me number each and every semantic rule. Okay. So first printf plus will be given a number 1. Then for E gives T, it will be given number 2. For T gives T star F, it will be given number 3. And for T gives F, it will be given number 4. And for F gives num, it will be given a number 5. So this is for our understanding purpose only. So without using the number, as like our previous example also, you can reduce and generate the answer. For understanding purpose, I am numbering the semantic action rules for every productions. Okay. So the input that we are going to evaluate is 2 plus 3 star 4. The same input we have taken. So first let us generate the parse tree. So the same parse tree, here one more branch I am adding. So that branch symbolifies the action rule that we have to use. Okay. So for first, E gives E plus T. Okay. E plus T. So what is the semantic action rule for this production? 1 is the semantic action rule. So I am adding one more branch, and in that branch I am adding that number of the semantic action rule that has to be used for that production. Okay. So for E gives E plus T, what is the semantic action rule? 1 is the semantic action rule. So I am just numbering it. Next what we will do? E will be reduced to T, and for that what number of the semantic action rule? 2 is the number. Then T is reduced to F. For that what is number? 4 is the number. And finally F is reduced to num. And what is the number? 5 is the number. Then coming to the next branch, T is reduced to T star F. And what is the action rule? Number 3 is the action rule. And T is reduced to F. What is the action rule? 4 is the action rule. And F is reduced to num. And what is the action rule? 5 is the action rule. Again F is reduced to what? F is reduced to num, and what is the action rule? 5. Now let us write the value, lexical value for each num. So what is our input given? 2 plus 3 into 4. So for this num I am assigning 2, and for this num I am assigning 3, and for this num I am assigning 4. We have generated the parse tree. So top-down parser takes this syntax directed translation and construct a parse tree as given here. After constructing a parse tree, we have to traverse the parse tree top down, left to right. Okay. Whenever we come across any semantic action, we have to perform that action. Okay. So there in the previous example, how we have evaluated the expression, whenever there is a reduction, we have to go and check the corresponding production and we have to apply that semantic action rule provided for that production, isn't it? So here in this example, whenever there is a semantic action, whenever we come across any semantic action, we have to perform that action. Okay. So first, I am traversing top down, left to right. So we haven't come across any semantic action. We are come across only the non-terminals. Okay. Here also no semantic action. And here we have come across the semantic action 5. So what is the action, semantic action 5? Print num.l value. So what is num.l value? 2. So 2 is printed. Okay. So whenever we come across a semantic action, we have to perform that action. Then going up, and here we are coming across a semantic action. What is the semantic action? 4. So nothing. Here in this semantic action, no statement is provided, so no action is performed. Then again move up. Here another semantic action is there. What is the action? 2. So in 2 semantic action, nothing is provided, so you don't do anything. Then you go up, then come down, T gives T, then F is num, and 5. So again we have come across a semantic action. So what is the corresponding action we have to take? What is 5? Print num.l value. So what is printed? What is num.l value? Here 3 is the num value. So what is printed? 3 will be printed. Okay. Then we are going up. Here we are come across a semantic action. What is the value? 4. While checking the 4th semantic rule, it is empty. So no action to be performed. Then while moving up, T star F, then F gives num, and again we are coming up across a semantic action 5. So what is semantic action 5? Print num.l value. Here what is num.l value? 4 is the num.l value, and we have to print what? We have to print 4. Then again moving up, here we are coming across a semantic action rule 3. So what is 3? In 3 we have given print star. So star will be printed. Okay. Then moving up, here what semantic action rule given? 1 is given. So what is the first semantic action? Print plus. So plus will be printed. And finally we have reached our starting symbol. So all the semantic action rule will be performed. And what is the output? 2, 3, 4 star plus. So finally we have converted a given infix expression to what? To an equivalent postfix expression. So using the production and semantic action rule, we can evaluate any Boolean expressions. Hope you understand. Semantic action rules, that is syntax directed translation, is very much useful for the parser to perform intelligently. Next, we are going to see the statements that alter the flow of control. What statement will generally alter the flow of control? Goto statement will alter the flow of control. If we implement goto statements, then we need to define a label for a statement. Okay. Why we need to define a label? That label will contain the place where the goto statement has to be altered. Okay. So a production for this goto statement is like this. Yes gives label. Yes is nothing but the statement where it has to go. Then label is nothing but label is an ID. So this is the equivalent production for the goto statements. So in this production system, semantic action is attached to record the label and its value in the symbol table. Next, we are going to use grammar to incorporate structure flow of control constructs. So the grammar given is yes gives if ye then yes, and this s is equal to if ye then yes, else yes, and this s is equal to while ye do s, and s is equal to begin l end, yes gives a, l gives l, or s, l gives yes. Here s is nothing but yes is the statement and l is also a statement list. Yes is a statement and L is a statement list, and A is nothing but A is an assignment statement, and E is nothing but it is a Boolean expression. Okay, S is statement, L is statement list of statements. Okay, then A is a assignment statement, and finally E is an expression. Now let us write an example translation schema for statement that alters the flow of control. For writing the translation schema, we introduce the marker non-terminal M. As in case of grammar for Boolean expressions, this M will be put before statement in both if then else. In case of while or do while, we need to put M before E, as we need to come back to it after executing yes. After executing the statement, we need to come back to M. So that's why we will put M before the expression. Next, in case of if then else, if we evaluate expression to be true, first the statements will be executed. After this, we should ensure that instead of the second yes, that is second statement, the code after the if then else will be executed. Okay, so in that cases, we will place another non-terminal marker N after first yes. Okay, so these are the translation schema that we need to follow while using a flow of control statements. Let us write an example production rule and the semantic action for the production. So if E then M S1. So this is a simple if block. The semantic action will be backpatch E dot true M dot quad. S dot next is equal to merge E dot false and X1 dot next. So what it means, if the expression is true, what we have to do means we have to backpatch M dot quad. That is, after executing the if block, you have to execute what? The statements within M dot quad. Within M, what are the statements that you have to execute? Okay. Then S dot next. After executing this statements, where we have to go means you have to merge the else block statements and S1 dot next. Okay. E dot false and S1 dot next. Next, for this production, S gives if E then M1, S1, else M2, S2. So here also first we will backpatch. If E dot true, where we will go? We will execute M1 dot quad. If E dot false, if this if block is false, where it has to go? It has to go to the else block. In else block, what will be executed? M2 dot quad will be executed. That is, the statements within the else block will be executed. So after executing either else if block or else block, finally where it has to go? It has to go outside the loop. That is, S dot next is equal to what we have to merge? We have to merge S1 dot next. If the if block is true, the statements after the if block is present where? It is present is S1. If the if block is false, what will be executed? Else block will be executed. So the statements after the else block is what? It is S2. So we have to merge S1 dot next and S2 dot next, and we have to merge another variable N dot next. So this is used for moving to the correct construct. Next, if a while loop is given, S gives while M1E do M2 S1. So for this, first we will backpatch S1, then next, then M1 dot quad. Okay, for a while loop, that is, if a do while loop is given, first that statement will be executed. No, present within the do while loop. So for the first time, that will be executed. That's why they have given like that. S1 comma next comma M1 dot quad. That is, the statement within the loop will be executed. Okay. Next only we will check the condition. Backpatch E dot true. If the expression is true, what we have to execute? We have to execute M2 dot quad. Then if the expression is false, S dot next is equal to where it has to go? It has to go to E dot false. Then you have to generate M1 dot quad. Go to M1 dot quad. Okay. So in the while loop, for the first time, it will execute the M1 statements, then it will check the expression. If the expression is true, the statements within M2 will be executed. Then if the statement is false, it will go to S dot next. So what S dot next will be executed? The statements within M1 will be executed. Okay. So this is the semantic action rule for while statement. Then for the next production, S gives begin, L end. L is what? L is nothing but a set of statements. Okay. So S dot next, for this the action rule is S dot next is equal to L dot next. Since it is a set of statements, all the statements will be executed sequentially. So next statements will be the next statements of L. Okay. Next, S gives A. It is means by what? It is mean by an assignment statement. So the semantic action rule is S dot next is equal to make list of. So it will make a list of all the assignment statements to be associated with the statement S. Next, L gives L or MS. So here first we will backpatch L1 dot next and M dot quad. Let us name it as L1. Okay. So first what we will backpatch? We will backpatch L1 dot next and the statements within M dot quad. Then this L dot next is equal to what? After executing this one, where the control has to go? The control has to go to here. Yes. So L dot next is equal to S dot next. Next, for this production, L gives S, it is equal to what? L dot next is equal to S dot next. Then for M gives epsilon. So that is equal to the semantic action M dot quad equal to next dot quad. Then N gives epsilon and this is equal to N dot next is equal to make list of next quad and generate go to. So these are the set of semantic action rules for this productions. So this is the general semantic action rules. According to our expression, according to our program, we can frame the semantic action rules for the flow of control statements. Next, postfix translation. In a production, A gives alpha. The translation rule of A dot code, that is the translation rule of this A, consists of the concatenation of the code translations of the non-terminals in alpha in the same order as the non-terminals appear in alpha. Okay. So how we will translate the code? So we will just concatenate all the translations that are present in alpha. So if alpha contains 4 statements means all the 4 statements will be concatenated. That is what it is mentioned. So the translation rule of this non-terminal is equal to what? Is equal to the translation of all the non-terminals present in alpha. In what order that is present, in that same order it has to be translated. Production can be factored to achieve the postfix form. Now let us see the postfix translation of while statement. So the production is S gives while M1 E do M2 S1. So this can be factored as S gives C S1 and C is what? C is equal to W. W is nothing but while. While E then do. Okay. W is equal to while. So simply I am just factoring the order of the evaluation of the expression present in the left hand side. Okay. So a suitable translation schema for this would be, for while, what is the translation schema? W dot quad equal to next dot quad. Okay. So until that while condition is true, we have to execute the statements next. That's why it means W dot quad. We have to, quad is nothing but generating a quadruple representation. Okay. How we know how to generate a quadruple representation of a 3 address code. So that's what it means. W dot quad is equal to next dot quad. It has to generate a quadruple representation. Okay. Then for C gives W E do. So the semantic action rule is same, C W E do. Then S gives C S1. So for that what we will do? First we will backpatch. In case of while loop, what we will do? We will backpatch S1 dot next and C dot quad. Then if S dot next, in S dot next what we will check? We will check C dot false. Then we will generate go to C dot quad. So this is completely equivalent to the semantic action rule that we have seen before in the flow of control statements. The same thing they have represented, only the production differs. So first we have to backpatch what? We have to backpatch S1 dot next and C dot quad, all the statements within the C block. If it is false means S dot next will go to where? It will go to the statements that is false for C. Okay, C is nothing but it is a loop associated with an expression. Okay, that is C. So if the C is false, the statements after this while block is noted down by this S dot next. Okay, after coming out of the loop, it has to generate what? It has to generate the conditions or the statements that are within that while block. Now let us see the postfix translation of for statement. So S for L, E1 step E2 to E3 do S1. So this can be factored as, so F is what? F is for L. And what is T? T is equal to this one, that is F equal to, so for L is equal to what? It is equal to F. So T is equal to F equal to E1 by E2 to E3. Okay. So this is nothing but, this is an expression, and this 2E3 is nothing but up to which. So usually a for block will contain what? Will contain a expression, a initialization statement, a condition, and a increment or decrement operator will be given. No. So E1 step E3 is equivalent to an expression, and 2E3 is equivalent up to which the for loop has to be executed. That is mean by 2E3. Then S is nothing but S is equal to the T S1. Okay, T is nothing but a non-terminal. This non-terminal is equivalent to the for loop and the statements within that for loop. After that, after executing T, what has to be executed? The next statement, that is statement number 1 has to be executed. S1 has to be executed. So this is the postfix translation of for statement. So as a summary, today we have discussed about the syntax directed translation, importance of syntax directed translation in evaluating the expression, and how a sample syntax directed translation schema could be written for flow of control statements, like how it can be written for if else block, while do while block, and for statement. Let us see about the other syntax directed translation schemas for other types of statements like declaration statement or procedure calls in our next lecture. Hope you understand, guys.
Okay guys, let me meet you all with another interesting lecture. Bye-bye.